You know who my next guest is? Alexis Davis, who's going to be back in action taking on Sabina Mazo at UFC Fight Night on February 27th. Alexis, how are you?
I'm pretty good.
Good to hear.
Life.
That's good to hear. Now, you're in the car. Where am I getting you right now? Are you going to practice, coming back from practice? Where am I getting you?
I was just in the middle, but it's kind of noisy in there, so I ran out to my car.
Veteran move. I like it. That's good. Coming in here where there's, you can hear you better. That's awesome. It's great to see you back in action, honestly. I know it's been a bit since you were last in the cage. When did you find out about this fight? Because it seems like you got some decent notice for this one.
I did. I was kind of surprised because I feel like a lot, since the whole pandemic and everything going on, that a lot of people have gotten a lot of short notice fights. Mm-hmm. And they wanted me to fight back in December, but it was like only a few weeks, and it was a 125 fight. And I decided after my last one that I was going to go back up to 35. Mm-hmm. So I was fortunate enough that they were able to kind of push back and find me a new fight at bantamweight.
Excellent. Any worries about getting another fight in the UFC? I know with 3 in a row, sometimes they're a little bit weird with that stuff, but were you pretty confident you were going to get another fight? I know you have enough on your contract, but still, was that something that you were worried about at all?
Always. You never know. Yeah,
right. Okay. Yeah.
Especially, and then we heard that they were cutting a lot of fighters. Mm-hmm. I think it was right before Christmas time. They were saying that they were going to cut like 50 fighters or something like that.
Right. And yeah. I think it was 60 actually. So that's crazy. Yeah. So.
Yeah, so I was kind of nervous myself, obviously having 3 losses in a row. So you know what? I don't, knock on wood. Like
I was going to say, yeah, I don't want to talk anymore about it. Don't want to jinx anything or anything. But to your credit, I mean, you're fighting really top-notch competition. It's not like you're fighting sort of, people that aren't known. They're very notable opponents. What have you learned the most from those last couple fights? Obviously better fighting at bantamweight, I'm sure.
Yeah, hopefully, that I'm gonna. They're fast at 125,
Yeah.
So I'm hoping, the change up. And I've had more success at 35 anyways at bantamweight. And you know what? Man, I just love food too much. I don't want to cut.
You and me both. I agree. No, that's great. So they tell you you're fighting Sabina Mazo. Were you surprised? Because, Sabina's fought at 125 the majority of her whole UFC career, actually. I think even before that as well. Was she someone you knew about when you got the offer?
Briefly, like a little bit, because obviously, like I watch as much as I can. But I didn't know she was moving up either. Mm-hmm. So I know a few fighters that we've been kind of bounced around between, different weight classes trying to find our fit, or like I said, like some fighters taking short notice fights, and I feel like the whole beginning of like everything that was kind of going on, you just took what you can get. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a great matchup. So now that you've had a chance to sort of assess her as an opponent, how do you feel like you match up against her here?
I think it should be pretty exciting. Mm-hmm. She's got good stand-up, good Muay Thai, but she also has, submission victory. So, I'm not quite sure how it's going to play out. Obviously, I think she's going to be looking for, her stand-up to kind of showcase in this game, but we'll see what happens.
How much do you feel like experience will play into this? This is a typical, veteran versus sort of prospect matchup. You have a lot more fights, and you fought the who's who. I mean, I was mentioning it there in those last couple fights, but just in general in your career, you fought some of the top fighters. Where I think for her, this is probably the most notable opponent she's fought. How much do you think that'll play into the fight?
Well, it's kind of interesting now that you kind of think about it a little bit more. I don't think it's going to play in as much anymore. Like. Mm-hmm. Well, this is going to be interesting for me. I was just talking about this the other day, like not having a crowd to fight in front of.
Yeah, I know.
It's almost like you have that gym atmosphere. I think there's going to be a lot less pressure that's going to that's going to ensue into the whole like environment even throughout the week.
Right. Yeah. And it's going to be completely different. Yeah. No crowds, and then all the COVID testing and stuff. I mean, this is all new for you, right? In terms of all that stuff. So that'll be interesting. Now, as far as training camp, how are things out there in California? Like, I know there's a lot of restrictions. How has camp gone so far?
Pretty good. I just recently moved gyms. So like we've been kind of, playing. Well, they're just kind of still doing like their opening. So, kind of had to work around a few things, and obviously with a lot of restrictions, especially in California, that we've had to get creative, which I imagine a lot of people have it with some of our training.
Yeah, no, that's great. Who have you mainly been working with as far as training partners? Who are some of your main training partners for this camp?
Oh man, I've had some great training. Still working with Darren,
Nice.
who I worked with before. Now, like out here with Eddie Abasolo, who's world champion Muay Thai fighter. Working so a lot with I have like the Frosto sisters that come out, and some great names, some GT who's fought out in Bellator. So we've just been kind of picking away at different parts that I've got a lot of good input from a lot of good fighters with a lot of different backgrounds.
Excellent. And I imagine it must be nice this camp, not having to worry about those extra 10 pounds as far as the weight cut and all that, everything going according to plan.
Oh yeah, I had Taco Tuesday the other day.
There you go. That's awesome. That must be nice during camp. That's great. Who's going to be in your corner for this fight?
I have my guys that are coming out for my camp. Eddie's going to be at Darren, who most of my UFC career has been with me, and my buddy John Herney. He's coming out. He's one of the new gym owners as well. So excited, good people to be around. Good atmosphere. I'm all about the vibes of what's coming off with people and the people around you. So it's good. How's
this fight playing out on February 27th?
Oh man, I guess it's a fight we're never gonna know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm working a lot of new things. I've had some time off. I had not many people know. Like I was out. I had a shoulder injury. I ended up having to go for surgery, but been able to play and kind of adapt my style a little bit around my injuries, and we'll have to see. I might have some tricks up my sleeve.
Looking forward to it. How long were you out with the injury, like surgery and all that? When were you actually able to get back to like training full time?
Oh, wow. It took me a long time to kind of, and still, things are still kind of, you still got to come back, especially with shoulders. I feel like they kind of take a little while to get used to. It really hasn't been back to pushing it as hard as I'd like to up until the last few months. I've kind of, just been working on different parts of my game up until then.
Yeah, no, I know. I broke my collarbone and it's still not 100%. So I know it's not quite the same, but still it's, I know those shoulders there, you don't want to mess around with them. Right. So
yeah,
there you go. How's it being a mom during the pandemic? I'm a father. I have a 3-year-old, and we're lucky here where I live in Vancouver that, we have our daycare still open. So my son's still going there, but how are you dealing with all that? Cause I know it's very difficult.
Yeah. You know what? I know it's been a bit challenging, and, I'm lucky. It gets easier, I find, as they get older. Mm-hmm. So now my son's got a lot of energy. He's totally just like mom. He's like, go, go, go. So, it's been a little bit easier that I can bring him with me more. Fortunately, like our daycares are back open, so that's a little bit easier. We do like the whole Zoom school, and
how's that going? Because I know for some parents it's very challenging. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't want to sit still. He'd rather be off doing something, but we're getting it done.
Good for you. What's downtime looking like during camp? I know you don't get much of it. I'm sure you're hanging out with your kids, but what's sort of when you get that little free moment? Are you getting in any Netflix or anything like that?
My God, barely. I watch more cartoons than I watch anything, which you probably know.
Yeah, no, for sure. What are you watching cartoon wise? I know for my son, he's all about Number Blocks right now. That's like his favorite show. So.
Oh no. There's a new show called Bluey. Bluey's a big hit. The dog. Mm-hmm.
You had me at Bluey. That sounds pretty interesting. I'll have to check that one out as well. What's sort of the status of your contract right now?
You know what? I'm just kind of taking it day by day.
Yeah, not worrying too much about it.
I still got 2 fights on my contract, but you never know. You never know what's going to happen. Kind of leaving, my options open. I recently went back to school, so looking long term, and I want to. If not fighting, I'm never going to stop training, and it's great to be at the point where I am right now, where I've learned how to train more efficiently. Like where I thought you just had to spend the day, 24 hours a day, pretty much at the gym. Now, I've learned to take my recovery time and train smarter, but to pass on that knowledge on to the next generation, it's kind of that in itself is great and it's rewarding.
What are you going to school for?
I actually recently just got my EMT and for
Nice.
firefighting.
Oh, good for you. That's awesome. So that's good. So how has that been? Like, so you finished the training, I'm assuming, or you still have to go through that, or what's the next steps?
Yeah. I haven't hit the academy yet, so that's next on my list. And fortunately, it gives you, you have a lot more time you can kind of play in with my training. So I'm gonna try to do everything.
Good. No, of course. Yeah, it's awesome. This is going to be a great fight. It's coming up here February 27th. It is UFC Fight Night. Alexis, thanks so much for the time. This was awesome. Just remind people where they can find you on social media. And if you got any sponsors or shout outs, I'll give you the last word.
Check me out. Alexis Davis MMA. Hit me up. Twitter, Instagram. Find me on Facebook. I got a million of those. And shout out to NutriShop. Guys, thank you so much for supporting me, and huge shout out to my guys in New Gym of the Resistance. Thank you.